Hi, welcome to theCUBE. My name is Lisa Maroney. I'm the Director of Business Development for the town of Chelmsford. And we're back here again with another very exciting episode featuring a small business here in our community of Chelmsford and our regular extraordinary Q hosts coming back on the show again, Jen and Karen, always making it a very fun episode. And we've got some really special guests with us today, Amanda and Mike Perry, owner of the customized gym, Skill of Strength, and we'll move the conversation around to hear from them as well. But I did want to touch on the fact, I was kind of reflecting earlier today that since this Q show began back in March and talking about the quarantine during the pandemic and questions, we've always circled back to the topic of health, wellness, fitness, nutrition, self-care. We've had so many conversations about this. It is so important to our overall balance, our ability to do well in our challenges of COVID at work, stay focused, feel healthy, do the best we can during this really difficult time. And so I just wanted to kind of point out that in the town of Chelmsford, at one point before the pandemic, the town manager, we were actually had a personal trainer here in town hall for a short time that were to help us create a balanced life of health and wellness and things like that. We have a full-size gym here. Being an older building with the school, we have a basketball court inside the building, which has typically been very busy with basketball, pickleball, all kinds of things. But we also have a really extraordinary workout room that some of us have really tried hard to be disciplined and structured and planning time to, exercise in the building when we can. And this just never seems to be enough time in the day. So we always just try to fit it in anytime we can, even if we have to multitask while we're working, check emails, exercising, as best we can. You just got to kind of fit it in a few minutes here and there. Oh my gosh, look at Jen. She's got like the 50-pound dumbbell down there. What do I got? I got the 5. I don't know. So anyways, we do what we can here to kind of, we have a lot of value for fitness, wellness, and even Jen's work is focused on community services. I think I'm just going to turn it over to Jen because, surprise, she is the member, I don't want to say premier member, but she is the member of Skill of Strength. And so let's just start the conversation off with Jen and get a little feedback from you.
I think we all know by now, Lisa, that I am the premier nothing. So let's just get that out of the way, But yes, I'm very excited for this episode of the Q because I am a member of Skill of Strength. And, I joined because a friend of mine who is a member there, just talked it up. And like you said, Lisa, we've been focusing on kind of health and wellness and self-care throughout this whole pandemic. It is a topic we keep coming back to. It's something that we talked about in our very first episode. And, I, like so many others throughout this pandemic, have had a difficult time in, figuring out what are the best ways to take care of myself. And so I finally just sort of, bit the bullet and decided that I needed, a more regular, regimented workout, regime, if you want to call it. And I decided to join Skill of Strength because I had a friend who just talked it up and just really loved the gym. So my experience, I've been a member there since right after July 4th. So, 3 going on 4 months now. And I've had nothing but tremendous experience. And, I could talk all day about how much I love this gym, but I want to hear from Amanda and Mike and let them tell us a little bit about the gym. They can kind of give us a little overview, but then we want to hear, specifically to Amanda and Mike about what it's been like, trying to keep a business going throughout this pandemic, some of the challenges, and some of the ways that you've adapted the gym to be able to allow members to keep coming in. So.
You want me to start?
Yeah, go ahead.
So yeah, so we're going on year 9 at this location. We started off, we were approximately 3,000 square feet, and then about a year and a half after, we took on about another 2,000 square feet. And was it last year that we took on another about 2,000 square feet as well? So we're at about like 7,400 square feet, and it's just crazy to think because we started this gym. Well, Skill of Strength was actually a blog that I had started probably 12 years ago. And we actually started the business out of our basement in Tingsboro. We were looking for a home, and we were living in Waltham. We had this tiny little condo, but we were looking for a house that we could move into and grow our family and raise our family in. But we were also, it was funny, we looked at the basement, and the basement had 10-foot ceilings, and which is abnormal for a basement. And we looked at each other and we're like, we could put a squat rack in here. And that was like the deciding factor for us.
It really was.
It really was the deciding factor for us to buy that house in Tingsboro. And that's how we actually started the gym, in a little basement. And I actually started in a local BNI group in Chelmsford, and I started to meet people in the community. And after about a year, I was actually leasing space at a place in Woburn, and after about a year and a half, they told us that they weren't going to do independent contractors, and they were going to go in the direction of employees only. So we basically had like maybe a month to a month and a half to find a place.
Long.
We only looked at like 3 or 4 places, and only one worked, and it was the location that we're in. And luckily, we were able to make it work. And yeah, the rest is history. When we started the gym, now you were in corporate America.
So I was in corporate America. We had a 6-month-old, and we signed a lease.
Yeah.
So I think we signed a lease in April, and then our son probably turned 1 in June. So it was a lot all at once.
Yeah,
I don't
no
really
stress there.
recommend doing it that way. Yeah, I don't really recommend doing it that way, but it all worked out. And then I stayed in corporate America for another year and a half or so. And I was just working here kind of part-time. I did all the billing, and I would coach, once or twice a week, just a little bit.
Yeah. So we just, we started off, and we had a vision of trying to really provide a gym where we could teach and really educate individuals, not just come in for workout and kick their butts. Right. And we really wanted to make sure that we were doing things in our minds the right way. And we're big on education, we're big on technique, and we're big on just making sure people are doing things right and they're safe, because, we never want people to get injured inside the gym. You come to a gym to get healthy, and you shouldn't get beat up, or you shouldn't be leaving with these injuries. And now tweaks and twinges, those things will happen. But, for us, we really wanted to create a place where we could train just about anyone. And my background is in more of the medical side, where I was in my first job. I worked with physical therapists, athletic trainers, even some orthopedic surgeons. So my experience in my training is actually more on the, I don't want to say orthopedics, because I'm just a regular strength coach, but I was lucky enough to really shadow some really brilliant individuals. So we brought the idea of injury prevention and the evaluation process into our facility, because everybody that comes through the door has something, right? They've got an old knee injury, they've got a back, they've got a neck, they've got a shoulder, and everybody has something. And for the people that don't, that's fantastic. But we noticed very quickly, wow, like this, it's really important to check the boxes and make sure that we run the gym the way that we see fit, which is starting with an evaluation and making sure that when people come through the doors, we know what they're capable of. We're just not going to hand them a workout and be like, here you go, good luck. The whole point of the evaluation process is to see where people are currently and what they're currently capable of. That way, when we design a program for them, or we give them recommendations, it's not going to injure them, because everybody is coming from a very, very different background, from a different walk of life. And we felt that even just evaluating our clients and looking at their injury history, their aches and pains, the way that they move, their flexibility, all that other stuff, we felt that that was something that initially we could really do to set ourselves apart. And we still, to this day, anybody that walks through the doors, specifically adults and high school athletes, we run them through their evaluation and we see what they're capable of, because we feel that if you just start throwing random exercises at people, we feel that that's not the way to do things. And we don't we don't feel like we're doing our best or providing our best service for that. So that's a big part of what we do. And, from there, that information we get from the evaluation process really gives us just a little bit more guidance on how to design programs. And whether it's a group training program or an individual program, we start to see trends. And we really want people to come in and we want them to improve their quality of life, to get stronger and to get more conditioned and just be able to do the things that they want to do. And that's one of the main reasons why we chose the name Skill of Strength, because we feel that everybody can benefit from getting stronger. And that is just something that we're really adamant about, because when you're stronger, everything else gets easier. If you're stronger and you want to go running, it's going to be easier if you're a bit stronger. Same thing with cycling, etc. So that's why we chose the name. And we believe that strength training is a skill. People, sweep it under the rug and just do random things, but we feel that that's important. And that's one of the main reasons why we chose that. And, the last 9 years have been absolutely crazy, but we're fortunate enough to have an amazing team. We couldn't do it without our staff, with Bryson, Kevin, and Javier, and our members are just like, we really do have like a community of just amazing people. And with COVID, it's been different. We don't have that same conversations and we don't have that same atmosphere, but the support has been incredible with our members, and we're very grateful for that.
It's been outrageous. I mean, we have people, one of our big things was we used to always high five. So this was before your time, Jen.
Yeah.
But our big thing was high five. And the first few times people would come take a class, they were like, oh, hi, okay, this is weird. But then it was one of those things that you just did, and it really made people feel welcome their first class, because, you've got 10 other people in class coming up to you, giving you a high five, saying, great job, great workout. So we've had so many people say to us during this time, man, we really miss the high fives. So it's little things like that just really build the community and just help our members encourage one another.
Yeah, I want to go back to something. That Mike said a minute ago too, when he was talking about the evaluation process. And I think what's so apparent to me and what is so impressive to me is that the evaluation process doesn't stop with clients with that one first time evaluation. The coaches are continuously evaluating everybody who's in the gym while they're in there, and making sure that everything that they're doing is right for them and is appropriate. I mean, just, as an example, my husband was in one of the group move workouts last night, and he came home and said that, he was doing some exercise, and when he was on his third set of it, Bryson happened to notice that he was getting tired. And so Bryson went to my husband and said, look, your form's fallen off a little bit. I could see you're getting tired. So let's switch. And you've had enough of this. And now I'm going to have you do this, alternate exercise instead, this modification. And so the fact that, as you said, Mike, you don't just give people a workout and say, here you go, you're on your own. But there's always somebody in the gym who's keeping an eye on you and making sure that the things that you're doing, you're doing them right and you're doing them safely for what works for you. And that's, I think, probably what someone who came from many years of membership at a big box gym, that's the difference that I see, is that sort of personal attention that folks get when they're in the gym. So why don't you tell us a little bit now about how things are different now than they were, pre-COVID, besides just the high fives, Amanda. But, I came in July. So I think I came in the week the gym was first starting to open back up inside. Yep. And so you guys were doing some outdoor classes before that, before you could reopen the inside. And I know even before that, there were Zoom classes going on. And now you're doing a combination. So take us through kind of, how that evolved to where we are right now.
Okay. So basically back in March, we had a full gym right before all of this happened. I remember we came in one day and we were like, oh my goodness, it's packed in here, but other places are starting to close down. What should we do? So we had decided we were going to close down, and then a couple days later, we wouldn't have had a choice anyway. But we decided to close down, and basically came in that Monday. We met with the coaches and we said, look, like, we don't know what's going to happen. Of course, we were with everybody else thinking it's probably going to be a couple weeks. Let's just deal with this. I remember signing up for Zoom and putting a note in my calendar to cancel the membership after a month. So needless to say, that's still popping up. So we started Zoom immediately, and our members were fantastic. We were just, you know, luckily we had a Facebook group, so we were all connecting through there. We were doing Facebook Lives. I mean, we did everything from, one of our coaches was doing Zumba classes, which is something we don't offer here, and it's very out of character for us, but it was just something to do. We had yoga classes, and then we had a bunch of our regular strength and conditioning classes online. And I mean, we offered a lot of Zooms, and a lot of people were doing it because everybody just knew, look, like, it's not the best thing, but it's much better than doing nothing.
Yeah, it was a very interesting change for us, having to basically, I remember that Saturday, the gym, I came in on that Saturday morning and it was packed. And then Sunday night, we basically decided, hey, we need to close. And I think we made the right decision. And from there, like Mandy said, I think we had 25 or 30 Zoom classes booked by that Wednesday. And luckily we had just worked with a company to design a Skill of Strength app where we can actually deliver workouts to people's phones. And we took full advantage of that. And we started just creating a whole bunch of different types of workouts for people that they could, if they're a member, they could, you know, choose whatever workouts they wanted and they could follow them at home. And then we also lent people equipment. We lent kettlebells and dumbbells and different weights. And it was very interesting for sure. But at the same time, it's what we needed to do because we're a small business. It's not that, you know, we have investors where they're just going to say, hey, we'll keep you afloat. We basically had to learn on the fly and make changes on the fly. And that happened for a few months. And then luckily, when we got the okay, we were able to start outdoor classes. And I was calling actually the Board of Health probably like every week, just regarding laws and guidelines, because, you know, we're rule followers and probably to a fault in some ways, but not in this case, of course. And we were just like, what can we do? What can't we do? What's appropriate? And everybody at the Board of Health was awesome and super friendly. And they were just, you know, they were appreciative too, because we were trying to do it right. And we didn't know the guidelines, and the guidelines were coming out at random times. So a lot of the times, I don't think anybody really knew exactly how it would work. But once we sort of figured out the recipe, we just started to build on that. And we started outdoor classes as quickly as we could. And all of our classes were outdoors. And we, you know, luckily our landlords were very, very helpful, where we were able to store our equipment outdoor in a garage. And then we had a huge parking lot area that's probably almost the size of a football field that we were able to do our workouts outdoors. And then eventually we were able to start coming inside with personal training. And then after that, we were able to, have small groups. And we're still at a point now where we have to limit the capacity at the gym. And, we're still following the basic guidelines from the town. So it's been a little crazy, but we're really lucky because we really do have the best members that have supported us through thick and thin. And, it was probably, this was more stressful than starting a gym, to be honest. Like, starting a gym and starting a new business is hard, but this was way harder because we knew the recipe, we knew how to run a business, but this was so different. We didn't even know if the decision we were going to make was going to work or not. So a
lot of times it felt like we were running three businesses. So we went from kind of having a pretty consistent schedule and knowing everything that was going on. And then all of a sudden we just started kind of throwing things at everyone saying, okay, let's try this, let's try that. Ooh,
I think COVID sent a lot into the tailspin, but I think in the fitness industry, it was obvious that once you create that habit of fitness, you're going to go through great lengths to maintain your level, or, nobody wants to fall off the wagon and get out of shape. It's really tough to get back on. And I think people were willing to just try to do anything to keep going with their regiments, and however way the adaptability and creativity. And I find even just recently, I found myself in a conversation with an older family member that was trying to learn, they're from the, no pain, no gain and all the old style of fitness. And, I've always been a bit of a fitness enthusiast over the years. So they're kind of asking a little bit of guidance. And, it's really tough to kind of just show up into this time of, it's not necessarily the workout styles of what it was in the 70s and 80s. And this person was a little bit older, but I think fitness is lifelong. And I, just real quick, my mother did a great job keeping herself in great physical health. And I think it extended a lot of years on her life. She can outrun probably all of us right now. But I just want to loop in Karen a little bit with, she's the owner of Visiting Angels, and the more sedentary you become, the more, as you slow down, even just the things of picking things up off the floor or going for a walk or climbing a flight of stairs or just, regular physical maintenance, it is really important to maintain your mobility and your flexibility, all those types of things. So just one other comment is that, skill of strength, you take out the excuses about why not to exercise if your knee hurts, if you're tired, if you don't have time, if you can't get to the gym. It's a matter about really creating that customized approach that really brings it back down to accountability of yourself, your willpower, your goal-oriented attainment, all those types of things. But I just want to hear a little bit from Karen before we run out of time. We got about 5 minutes left to hear her thoughts in terms of working with the older population and the really heightened importance of fitness and wellness in that term.
Hi, Amanda and Mike. It's really great to meet you guys. My husband, Larry, and I own the Visiting Angels Senior Home Care Agency in Chelmsford, and it's really nice to see a successful husband and wife team running a business together, because that's what we're doing as well. Lisa makes some great points. So we work with the senior community, and we have firsthand knowledge of sort of what happens to the human body as it ages, and people lose their muscle tone and their strength, and they really need a caregiver to come and help them, assist them and support them in these activities of daily living. So it really is important to keep up your strength. And I know personally for me, this quarantine sort of hit as I was becoming a woman of a certain age and going into a business environment full-time, full on your own business. You guys know how hectic that is. And I feel myself sort of aging more quickly now as my fitness level has fallen off. And so I'm listening to you, and I'm getting, it's getting me excited to get back into this workout routine. I see the importance of strength on being able to open a jar, on your own, and to be able to maintain your balance. And falls, especially now as it's getting darker at night for the seniors, falling is a big problem. Maintaining your balance, and I can see from your website that you have programs for really people of all ages that just want to maintain their level of fitness, get strong, work on their balance, and just be able to keep their bodies healthy to help them age in place. And so I guess my questions for you are you serving the community of different ages? Because, sort of like Lisa said, I myself am doing my old Jane Fonda videotapes with the leg warmers, and the talk is just hilarious, what it used to be like. Yeah, Jen's doing her moves. And so, those weightlifting and all that goes way back, but it really is a different model now. And it sounds like you guys have a great program, that it's a skill to build up this strength. And you probably have a lot of high school athletes in there, and a lot of marathoners and athletes that people want to stay in shape. But do you appeal to just sort of other wider age groups? Is there an older community in there with you guys?
Yeah, so we do have programs for pretty much everybody. We've got our play program, which is for elementary school, which is, it's just organized fun. It's getting these kids active. We always say that our main goal is when these kids leave, that they're sweating and they're smiling. That's really the key, because, you know, with electronics these days and kids are playing less and less. So we try to create a program for those kids. And so we have that elementary school program. We've got another program for our middle school called Evolve, which is really just taking off. And again, it's just getting these kids physically active, especially if they're sitting in front of computers all day and the lack of exercise due to sports are, you know, a little crazy these days, and the lack of recess, et cetera. And then we do have high school programs as well. But I've been fortunate enough to work with some older individuals in their 70s and 80s, you know, people that have been in a wheelchair for several years and they wanted to be able to walk again, or they wanted to be able to, you know, pick up their grandchild. And it's something that for us, when someone comes in that's in their maybe 60s or 70s and 80s, no one ever says, hey, I want to do more high intensity workouts. They always say, I just need to get my strength back so I can do those everyday tasks. So that's one of the big things we focus on. And, you know, I've been fortunate enough to have some amazing clients where, again, they were, you know, stuck in a wheelchair for a couple of years. And, you know, by the time we were done working with them, they were able to, you know, be in their walking for 200 yards. So, I mean, for the average person, that doesn't seem like it's a big deal. But for us, we really feel like if we can just teach people and educate people on what they currently need, and it's the old saying, you know, teach a man to fish type scenario, instead of doing it for them, where we really believe that we can help everybody as long as they show up and they're consistent and they put the effort in. We have the skill set and we have the team that can really take them you know, towards that next level and whatever their goals are. So I can honestly say we've worked with people from 5 to 90 and everything in between. And it's actually, it's one of those things. It's important. I mean, these people are trusting that we're going to take care of them, whether it's someone signing their mom and dad up or putting their kids in. So it's pretty important.
Well, I think that's a great summary, and I really have enjoyed this episode in today's show. I think we're going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for joining us, Amanda and Mike. It's been a pleasure, and look forward to having you back on again sometime soon. Please keep in touch. And until the next episode of The Q, thanks for joining.